speak. Fnatic versus Tenstar, kicking it off on Fnatic's map pick of Icebox. After this, we'll be going on to Ascent, and we will finish on Bind if a third map is necessary. A dangerous one, Tom, to have left in there for Fnatic to close it out. So I really need to see a 2-0 from Tenstar, I gotta be honest.
And that's the thing with Fnatic, is that I don't really think they have a weak map. Like, even when they went into the grand final, they ended up playing Split to even a decent level, which has been their permaban for a long time. So I feel like Fnatic are always going to be, alongside maybe FPX, the worst team to come up with, because they just basically play the whole map pool. So you've just got to choose your strengths. So I'm hoping that's what Tenstar have done.
Well, let's hope so. Here on Icebox, though, Fnatic have chosen to start the battle, and we'll see how things are going to roll. They're on the attacking side, and they're making their way in. Some snake bites coming in, courtesy of you-know-who. And that plan is going to come into effect, or maybe not. Mystic actually forced off because of that little nano swarm they threw down. They're ready for this kind of play. Evidently, they've been doing the research on Fnatic, and Polvi, a player who dominated in many of the duels in the previous, is shut down by the IGL of Boaster, putting it into a 4 versus 2, and Tenstar, well, they're lost. They're stuck around this mid and kitchen area, while Fnatic have spread a blanket across this map, ready to catch them as they rotate over.
Considering moments ago we were watching Fnatic plant on the B site, and now they've already managed to switch up and take full control of A. I don't really know what Craig can do here. He's completely surrounded, has to try and fight every single angle at once. I think his best case is to just try and fall back into the kitchen and hope that he doesn't get killed off, but there's no real chance for him here. Maybe not as squeaky clean as initially planned, but Fnatic, they get the job done. And I like to point out, we are running identical comps. Like, maybe it's not quite in the same order, which makes it a little bit trickier to work out just by looking at it, but yeah, both teams running basically exactly the same thing. So maybe there's some like a few Tenstar players like watching some of the way Fnatic play, or it is just that ideal comp right now on this map.
Yeah, I gotta say, when you look at this the setup from the teams, they've both gone a similar route, as you said, going the same way. I really enjoy this setup. We saw some like Sky Sovas in the past, but having that Jet in there, that extra little bit of a, I would say, flashy ability, but in a different way to what KO is going to bring to the table, let's say. It's always exciting. Oh, they've managed to sneak Russ into the corner, but he gives it away too soon. Thinking they would check him, gives it away, and that's going to be a 4 versus 2 and a tough one for Tenstar with these classics.
It was a round they weren't expected to win. Like, if you're going to make your mistakes, this one's fine. Like, sure, it would have been nice to do a little bit of extra damage, cause a few rebuys, make that bonus round a bit weaker for the next round. But you know what? Fine. Get those jitters out the way, and we'll see them come back with a decent purchase coming into the next round, of course. For Fnatic, they've kept these last couple of rounds very, very clean. And one of the things we've got to talk about is obviously how we've seen a lot of economic changes, but also ultimate changes. One of the most expensive ults in the game right now, Hunter's Fury, already on Boaster in round 3.
Yeah, he's been doing all right in the pistol round and the, the anti-ecos. He's feeling pretty good. But that Hunter's Fury, I don't know if we're going to see it activated. You know, if it's a Blade Storm, that would be ideal. That's really the ult that you want online at this stage of the game when you're playing a bonus. Coming up against a full set of rifles, we'll see where the opportunities are going to be for Fnatic. You saw the Operator already in the hands of Polvi. He's going to look to do some serious damage with it. And actually, with the early A peak that they got and saw nobody, they're content to leave Killjoy holding half of the map. She's holding mid, but her utility is holding off the A site, allowing for a 4-man B stack as the wall comes up on this B site. And although the plant might be secured, I'm missing a bounce on that one, they'll get a kill, and they'll have very early on ability to bounce back into this and have a flank underway.
Still retaking versus Fnatic is easier said than done. They've got the Operator on Polvi. There is that Hunter's Fury. Actually popped a little bit early, but 2 quick kills coming up already for Tenstar. Leaves just 2 remaining. Trying to pressure onto Boaster. It's left onto your man Mystic, and this time he's not going to be saved by his lineups. There is so much left on that spike.
Beautiful stuff there from Tenstar. This is exactly what we want. This is the round. Okay, they lose the pistol. They play with classics and they manage to get a kill. It's whatever. But right here, when they get those rifles out, you want to see them come out on top, and they do exactly that. Now in a position where they're able to hopefully answer back without investing too much, because they've only lost the one weapon. They're going to have their 4 Vandals and their Operator up against Fnatic's first full buy. If they win this, they're 3-2 up, and they're right back in the game despite a pistol loss.
Oh, well, you've mentioned it every map, so I'm going to steal it from you this time. We know that the Guardian has become much cheaper, and considering your man Dirk has got it in hand, I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to be able to do with it. Polvi on the other side, though, he's been a joy to watch. From the little we've seen so far from Tenstar in this tournament, he was definitely one of the highlight players from this squad. And he's just being able to almost dominate control over onto the A side. Magnum trying to be sneaky is actually expected. Stanley, an experienced player from UK Counter-Strike, is not going to be fooled. And in fact, after taking the early initiative, just falls back and plays for that retake if Fnatic decide to push into B.
Russ making a couple of steps that will have been heard all the while. Cray still being conscious of mid, and Durka, oh, he thinks he's got the timing, but Cray was conscious of it the whole time, ready to take him down. Shock darts in to deny that plant, and now the swing. Look how low these players are, and they're so easy to deal with. Despite a snakebite kill from the grave from Mystic, this is 2-2. Tenstar looking strong on the defense right away.
I really like how they're actually making sure to clear everything as well. Like, they haven't been surprised by anything Fnatic have attempted to do so far, like, considering Magnum's position in the early stages of the round. Like, they're not being caught out by what I would call silly little mistakes that can easily be made with Fnatic. Like, we speak about Magnum as one of those players who, he must be one of the most infuriating in the game to play against, because he always seems to be behind you. He always seems to find angles that are unexpected. But so far, for Tenstar, they haven't quite fallen for it yet. And from what we see from Fnatic in this round, well, I don't want to jinx it, but they should have a slightly easier time.
Oh, that's a bit of damage onto Stanley. He's able to make it away, but Magnum's hot on his heels, coming around, and Durka catches one from afar. Lockdown to come into effect, and this should be the A site for them.
I'm sorry, Tenstar. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to jinx you.
You've just completely ruined them. But hold on. One shock dart in, not going to land on the lockdown, but it's going down a little bit deeper to try and get some damage. Still, I don't know how much that's exactly going to help. Oh, Russ, okay. That's a good start. Viper's Pit going to be completely discounted into a 4 versus 2. Tenstar have a chance, but they need to rely on Fnatic over peeking. And as those peaks come in, so too do the kills. At this point, Polvi probably wants to just get out of there and save that operator, but he's being spotted running away. Fnatic, oh, they don't want him to save that weapon.
I'd like to write a formal apology to Tenstar and their players for saying that this round would be slightly easier. I had a slip of mind, and I forgot that Durka existed, and all I can do is offer my condolences for what he has just done to them in that round.
That's fair, Tom. You know, I think you're going to have some angry mail at TomBiz on Twitter if you want to go and send some DMs. Let him know what you think about that little curse that he put on them there. Now, obviously, Tom, you're going to say that Fnatic will easily win this round, right? Just to further curse it.
Yeah. But this easy dub Fnatic, it's not going to work this time. It won't.
Can't force it.
I feel bad.
Yeah, you can't force it. It's not possible. Now, Viper's Pit, this is more of a familiar one from up on top of pipes. In the Alliance game the other day, everybody was throwing them down below, and it gave me anxiety. But now they're able to watch for anybody coming up above. Russ has an Odin in mid. Now, you'll see the Odin used to try and deny the plant on B, but generally that player won't go walking down mid looking for a fight like that. But Russ has got balls of steel.
It's normally a gun used a little bit more for wall banging rather than just going straight into mid. But you know what? I appreciate the attempt. He's managed to get the res off as well, cancelling out the early kill. And Cray swinging onto Durka. Not normally a duel you're going to win, but he'll take that all day long. The push through mid, though, is going to leave Cray screwed. Completely out in the open, gets clotheslined by Magnum, and leaves us back in a 4v4 once again.
And here's where the Odin can get dividends. Those spams, they can be very, very dangerous, but a little bit delayed coming through. Now on the swing, long range, you are not favored in that fight. Trouble's definitely afoot now. The shot onto Boaster connected. Okay, that Dwindles down the numbers of Fnatic a little bit, but they have a flank on the way. The Killjoy coming up through middle. All they need to do is buy the time, and with these post-plant setups, you'd imagine that's what they're going to do. In fact, they're dominating the duels. Magnum pounces from behind. Doma in with another, and at this stage, it's all down to that Odin. Russ trying to get it done, but really it doesn't feel possible. He needs to get a kill. There's the first. The Nanoswarm denies the defuse, and so he is out of here, running to save that weapon through to the next round. 4-2, but a very hard-fought battle for Fnatic already.
Must just suck playing against Magnum. Like seriously, like he gets the kill on Cray as he tries to like take a little bit of control into B after he knows he's being pincered through mid. The last kill he gets is then him swinging back around into mid again to flank the players that have tried to avoid him and go the other way. Like, if you're trying to escape Magnum, just realize that he's already thought about where you're going to escape to and is then already there again. So I don't know. There's not much you can do about that. Another round on the board for Fnatic, getting a strong start off on the attack. We normally expect a pretty decent attack half from any side coming into this map. Same time, though, I wonder how the economy is going to be for this round for the defense. I'm not sure they're going to have too many finances in this one at all.
No, they don't. They've got a lot of pistols, marshals, but there's the Odin saved over from the previous round. Dirk, a headshot received right off the bat, and another to be delivered. Hello, Tenstar. You've come to play in this eco round. Now, Brody might not be feeling the best about his chances, but that drone can do a lot for them. Player spotted further back. Here's the res. Hunter's Fury available to try and cancel that out, but they don't go for it. Instead, Cray just comes up from the top rope, but Dirk is back up and looking to deliver damage of his own. A 3 versus 2, a hard-fought round for Tenstar. They ended up committing a lot in the form of the abilities, the res, the ultimates, but it doesn't look like they're going to get a lot out of it. Paul V, the last alive. Time is against him. Numbers certainly not in his favor, and at this stage, he knows he's dead. 5 on the board for Fnatic.
So good at stabilizing those situations. Like the main worry for me is when that sort of drone went over the top, I thought the Hunter's Fury was going to be popped on the defender's side to actually try and clear out some of those remaining players. It wasn't, and that's where Durka flies over the top and, well, does what Durka does best, but they're still keeping these close. You have to consider, like, sure, for ultimate economy, that was a very expensive round for Tenstar, but it wasn't a buy, so they're still going to come back and look to face off against Fnatic once again. The thing is, though, I feel like they need to break them back fairly soon. Once that momentum gets going, once the rust off the break comes off, I feel like there's going to be no chance for them here.
You're ready to call it already, Tom. You got somewhere to be? You booked in some lunch reservations? What's going on? What's going on? Lunch, yeah.
It's 10 p.m.
You know I only woke up a few hours ago. Come on. You just had breakfast. Relax yourself. The late night gamer hours. By the way, don't play ranked at 4 a.m. The people you come up against, I'm pretty sure, are Fnatic. And that can't be fun, as I'm sure Tenstar will attest to. Those Hunter's Furies. Those Hunter's Furies. Is that right, Tom? Those Hunter's Furies. That sounds weird.
It doesn't sound right, so I'm just going to avoid it and then just leave you to sound like the fool.
Many of the Hunter's Fury abilities are online. They've been online for a while, but eventually it comes in. It's one Hunter's Fury. That's easy enough. Most are able to catch Russ with it and the trade back for Durka. Here's the other Hunter's Fury, meaning both of those abilities have been used. Answered back. Now that's cleared out. A little corner. Making sure that they've got themselves a kill. Man advantage only ×1 to Fnatic. This is definitely still doable for Tenstar. They're being manipulated, though. Sticking around the B site. Oh, Magnum. Oh, he's got into Tube. He's going to be coming all the way around, but that's going to be the spike dropped, and there's only 10 seconds left. It's time to pounce. He's going to go quickly. There's the kill, but no time for a plant. They need to find it, and they do. No. Brody not able to sneak away and survive. That's 6 for Fnatic. A Hail Mary play on that one, but it's worked out.
It's unbelievable how close most of these rounds have been. A split-second decision just completely changes things. Polvi almost ended that round in its tracks by dropping the spike as it rotated. And then Magnum comes along again to get both final kills. 6-2. Again, we're going to be back to pistols, and this time, unfortunately, Tenstar don't have multiple ultimates to play behind to almost pad them up a little bit. You'd expect this one to be a little bit cleaner, but I said that before, and who knows?
You're not wanting to curse it anymore. I respect it. There's one kill for free for Magnum, but he's pushing up. These pistols close range, man. They can be dangerous. They've got the numbers advantage, but Magnum, he doesn't give a damn. He's killed all 4 of them, rushing at them with a pace they could not anticipate, turning them into phantoms and leaving the 4v1 in the hands of Stanley. And Magnum, oh, he's coming all the way back for the ace. He is hunting that one down and putting a clean round on the board for Fnatic. Only the 1 loss.
I think the one thing I did learn from Masters is that we sort of like, when we were looking at the EU season, the EMEA playoffs, it was all talk about Durka. Like, there were moments for Magnum, that was sure. Like, he was someone that we highlighted in those crucial clutch situations. But I feel like as Masters then progressed, as we got into the international event, Magnum almost came to the point where we were talking about him as the star player, as the player who could pop off. And it just seems to have continued now going into this open match, or the close qualifier matchup. He's just running and gunning. He's got that fragging ability as well. I have to say, whoever is doing the pickups, maybe it's influenced by Mini or Boaster, or maybe there's someone behind the scenes as well. These have to be the 2 best signings that we've seen, right? Like, I don't think anyone else even comes close. Like, there's been mergers of teams or creations of teams, but as a +2, -2, this has to be the best of any team.
Not to discredit the players that were there beforehand, of course, but I completely agree. When you look at Magnum and Durka, I have very little. I actually think I have nothing negative to say about them. Like, as young players coming into this roster, they fit like a glove instantly. And you can see now, with a little bit of extra time, they are starting to shine. Fnatic has long been my favorite team, but when it comes down to this... James gonna give that to me later. But when it comes down to this this lineup, this iteration, it's by far the best that they've ever looked. Oh, that's an vicious play by Paul. He gets blocked on the dash back, and they just get shut down. Durka caught with his knife out. At least it's some sort of consolation, but the quick kill back puts it into a 4v2. That's a spike at least. Oh, this is doable for Brody if he wins that fight, but he doesn't.
I don't think I've ever seen a whole team die in kitchen / the tube.
The whole round's in there, yeah.
It's a bit of a peculiar round to play, but also a little bit unlucky for Tenstar. Like, I highly doubt that Fnatic went into that round going, let's directly counter their tube push. I don't think that was the plan. It just happened to be that was where the majority of their players ended up going, and it ended up as a, well, a little bit of almost slapstick comedy as they bumped into each other and both got headshotted within a second. What started as quite a close game, back and forth, opportunities for Tenstar, has almost gone to kind of what we expected.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, in terms of the 8-2 scoreline, yes, but Tenstar have definitely performed a lot better than I expected them to. A lot of these, we could very well be looking at a tied-up scoreline. It could be 5-5 right now. Look at Tenstar, grouped up outside of A, on both sides, waiting for this lockdown to pop up. They're going to have 2 flanks coming in, but this will be expected at this stage by Fnatic. They've got the manpower to go back and cover those flanks. That's what Mystic is doing alongside Magnum, as Magnum just swings, and this guy, he is on fire right now. I'm convinced there's something with that skin that he's using, surely. There's no way. This is not normally check in PC, as you said earlier. It's ridiculous.
I feel like you're just, every time you see a player use a skin, you're just gonna go buy it. You're like, that was the only reason he played more. But you're gonna end up bankrupt of every time someone changes their skin. You're like, no, please, I don't have to catch this time.
I have the Blast X skin. The only problem is that the Oni is way better. I bought it and then used it for a few games and went, nah, man, the gold and black Oni is the way to go. But now, of course, you just use the
I feel like
Vandal anyways.
Maybe, and this is just a maybe, Magnum might be a slightly better Valorant player than he.
1 or 2%. Hey, Paulvy has actually found the dividends this time for that mid push. ambitious, Tom, to try it twice. You know, that's faith in yourself. He does it once, they lose the round in kitchen within 3 seconds. And then what does he do next buy round? Hey guys, I might just do that again. Reload, just go down tube, see what's up. And it wasn't expected. A quick double kill, and now a 5v3. Tenstar could at least be looking at 3 rounds when we come into the next half.
It wouldn't be ideal. They've also used the Viper's Pit and popped the Blade Storms. They've just thrown everything. Of course, it's the last round of the half. Why not? Might as well utilize it. And they're still being spotted into mid. Now, for Russ to repeat this, I think probably realizing that it might not be the greatest idea, but he's got his teammate in the form of Brody repositioning to give him some level of support, at least creating a different angle. The wall going up will at least allow them some sort of split into that B site. The issue with this, however, is the fact that they almost know that they can't have gone through B just yet, and the push is going to come in from Boaster on A, and he gets dropped as well.
Now, this is perfect from Tenstar, exactly what you want to see at this stage of the game. Last round of the half, they still have lockdown to play with, and they might not even need it. And that Viper's Pit is useless. It'll get the plant at best, because lockdown counters it. But lockdown's gone, because Mystics just shot him in the head. So now things become a lot more dangerous. They're going to actually dive down onto him, but Mystic was ready for it, even still. Not able to catch Brody down behind him. That will be 9-3 at the half. Tenstar, they've recovered a bit of a fumble, but they need this pistol. Losing this, and the map is basically over.
Yeah, we've definitely seen teams, especially earlier on in Icebox, manage to pull out ridiculous attack side halves. I will say, versus Fnatic, it's a little bit of a different ball game, because you can normally expect Durka on defense with an operator to win you at least a couple of rounds. So I think it's going to be one hell of an uphill battle, but you are definitely right. Without a pistol, you're basically either going to have to force into the second round or wait until you're 11-3 down before you get any rifles on the board. And as said, Durka normally guaranteed to get you 2. That would be map done.
Well, Tom, the pressure's definitely on for the Tenstar boys. We talked about the value of playing against Fnatic. You'll learn so much. It's a prize in its own right. And there's a lower bracket as well. They'll be taking notes as we speak, but definitely not counting themselves out. This angle found by Magnum. As we said, this pistol was incredibly important, and it might not be over yet, but as you can see, the deck is definitely stacked against Tenstar with a 4v2 and very low HP on their Viper.
One enemy remaining. Spike
Just doesn't miss.
A.
I don't think anybody doubted him even for a second. It leaves Stanley. 1 versus 4. He's going to recognize some of the players on the other side as his UK CS brethren, but I don't think there'll be any love lost in this scenario. 30 HP, 4 to find, time to do it, but realistically, no real opportunity. And with the spike also down on the A site, it really couldn't get much worse.
No hope for the play still, but the second that he's spotted, he's gone. 10-3. Fnatic, they take the pistol, and at this point, you're starting to get a little bit shaky if you're Tenstar. On the attacking side, they can consider a force if they really want to just throw themselves at it, but I think the eco is far more likely, and then they play for a flawless half to try and take it 13-11, or at least get themselves up to an overtime. It's a pretty tall task. I will say I would rather be on the attack than the defense to try and make this happen.
Yeah, for sure. I think also, just interesting note, while we have these sort of pistol buys, Vitality has won the first map versus G2. So looking to try and redo that victory we saw before. And Ascender beating Big 1-0 as well. Now, I was not expecting Durka to die there, in all honesty. But luckily, you kill 1D, and there's another waiting right behind. Russ has now found another, though. 3v3, maybe a weapon or 2 to pick up. This could get interesting.
Oh, Mystic's going to peek this with a Spectre. They have Sheriffs. That's actually a favorable fight for them. And look, he's going to go out. He's going to do it. They're lined up. Oh, Mystic. His brain gets the better of him in the end. He realizes it's probably not worth going in for that. And so back to the A side we go. It does make this a very difficult round for Fnatic if they don't get information, but there it is. A player spotted straight off the bat. It's only 1, but It's enough. They're going to keep 2 players towards the B site. I thought Boaster was just running at them. I forgot the weapon was down. I was questioning everything I knew about Valorant. Like, you see pistols, you take out your ghost and you run at them. That's an interesting strategy. But with 30 seconds left, it all comes down to this fight. If Tenstar can get this, they may just be back in the game. Certainly back in with a much, much better chance. And Boaster won't be able to peek and deny that plan. So it comes down to post plans.
Definitely workable. Shock dart in to try and chip away a little bit of the HP. Not going to do any major damage. And the last few pieces of utility trying to force players off the angle. They didn't expect Russ up close and already trading into a 2v1. But it's this man once again. Magnum always seems so solid in these clutches, looking to wrap back round behind them, bait someone into the peak, but they're just holding, sitting back, trying to play within this crossfire. The bait and switch wrap around, but he still isolates the duel. Comes down to the 1v1. The timing for Brody, but he hasn't spotted him, and he's burning down that clock just a little bit longer, and it should be enough to take home the round. Congratulations to Tenstar. They take it home with pistols. It's a 4th on the board, but still a long, long way to go.
And that's not Fnatic making a bunch of mistakes. This isn't somewhere we're going to sit back and go, oh, Fnatic, you should have won that round. Tenstar played that so well right from the start. They get their jet to just push up and take a hyper-confident duel up against Durka with a classic, and it pays dividends. He's so focused on like 3 players coming through that choke point that he can't quite get the bullets out in time. From there, isolating duel after duel in trades. Everything that they did was perfect on the Tenstar side. That was a pleasure to watch. And I think at this point, you're seeing that, you know, it's 10-4, but it feels like a much, much closer game. As I said earlier, this could very well be like a 1 or 2 round lead to Fnatic. They've edged it out the majority of the times, but they found themselves in so many close rounds.
Yeah, I think a clutch or 2, maybe an economic change one way or another. And yeah, it could be a much, much closer game. Polvi already going to kick things off once again. And they're cleaning up these pistols fairly easily. Again, not going to be a massive investment coming in from Fnatic, so you would expect them to keep these ones clean, especially if they're going to have any chance of turning this tide. And this man starting to step up could be a big deal, but Doma is so damn good. 2 quick kills off the back of the Sheriff. And again, there's no freebies up against Fnatic.
Yeah, but look at this player right down below. They'll have to turn on him so quickly. And they're not going to. Not even aware that he's here.
Oh.
Took a second. Russ didn't even get the kill in the end. So thankfully, he had some teammates ready to swing and help him, because that could have been a little bit awkward otherwise. 10-5. Tenstar, they're creeping up on them a little bit. But here's the full buy for Fnatic, and this is where things get dangerous. There might not be an op in the hands of Durka, but I assure you, he's just as dangerous with a Phantom. Interesting.
That's for sure. That is for sure.
Look at the loadouts from both teams. 4 Phantoms over on the defensive side of Fnatic, and Vandals on the attack for Tenstar. Just an interesting little take.
Fnatic have been playing against North American teams, you know. That's what happened. They've adapted. They've tried to steal some of the things that have come over from that side. Also, depending on the map position as well. But for Durka,
so good. He's going to be spotted.
Himself an aggressive spot, but it will be spotted out. Now escaping. He does have his dash available, but actually not going to fall all the way back. Still trying to hold on to these aggressive positions. I said that there's always a couple of rounds, especially on defense, where this man just seems to steal them away. I do question if pushing into him here might be troublesome.
Oh, they know he's here again. So at this point, he should just be getting that dash out of there. I'm surprised he even did the little jump in the first place. Risked getting catching a few bullets on his way back. This whole time, Cray's been working. We saw him earlier outside that A site, waiting for an opportunity, but sadly they hadn't sold enough of a fake onto that B site for him to get the lurk coming through. Now that fake turns into a real hit. They're going to just be rushing in, looking for that plant, and Durka, well, he's not interested in spamming just yet. He's hoping that someone gave him the opportunity, just crossed on that wall, not realizing there's a gap, but looks like Tenstar acutely aware. We'll end up in a 4v4 with, again, post plans to be played out.
They managed to hold it in the previous scenario, and this time both sides with weaponry. The delayed push from Magnum, though, he always seems to be in the right place at the right time, but he might not be needed. It's Boaster. He's got the big brain and the brawn as he comes through with 3 kills. He's going to even be handed over that extra ultimate orb to get him ever closer to the Hunter's Fury. And while they're going to edge ever closer to that victory as well. 11-5, another needed to keep them in the map. And more importantly, for Tenstar, financially, it's not perfect. Now, they do have the Blade Storm, which will at least save them a little bit, Mitch.
It will. It will. Obviously, you're saving close to 3K off of that right off the bat, but I'm more interested in what Paul V can do with it in particular. Over on that Jet, he's looked good in the early stages, but certainly quieted down. And at this stage, they want to see something big from that Jet over on the attacking side. You see Durka pop the Blade Storm. He's moved up. He's coming right up behind and taking Cray down. About as easy as you like it. Magnum elsewhere shutting down Paul V, making sure that, well, there ain't going to be much coming out of him. And with his last knife, Durka, you just know he's going to go out for this one and look for a kill. Stanley's position given away. Baits out Magnum into a wide peak. And a 2v1 aim duel that goes their way very convincingly. Boaster sneaking by. Fnatic haven't lost control of this B side by any means. They still have a bunch of players around this area, but having lost their Killjoy in the early stages now means that they don't have anything to deny those plans, and they'll have to presumably keep players towards that side of the map, putting a lot of pressure on Durka to show up if they do come his way.
As the Blade Storm fades, the farming for the next one begins. 45 seconds. Tenstar to try and make their move. They'll get the res onto Cray, turn it into a 4 versus 4, but this gives a lot of information, at least where the Sage will be. A couple of the players known, and with Sova's dart thrown over the top, Fnatic now will have a pretty strong idea of where this push is going to be coming in. Bulldog not primed for this position, but the boost up from Doma is so sick, utilizing his own utility and trying to go up behind them. He wants to close this on his own. It's a little bit of a whip, and then he pulls out the classic. You can't do that to them, Doma. 12-5 and a 4K solo hold.
You just couldn't make that up. After he missed the spray, I'm looking at the map thinking, all right, who's our next contestant? And the classic to close it out. Absolutely disgusting stuff. 12-5 here on Icebox. And I mean, things are starting to look pretty shaky for Tenstar, at least in this map. And in the fact that Bind is the final, their ascent better be pretty damn good. Because when they move on to that final map, I ain't feeling too good about them. Or maybe they've got a 7 consecutive round streak up their sleeve, Tom. Somehow, though, I'm doubting that.
That was the thing about Fnatic Ascent as well, was that they only really ever lost it to Liquid, and then their most recent match, they even beat them. So let's not pretend like Ascent is even a weak map for them either. It's a strong one at that. And well, almost a first casualty coming in, but actually a popped Hunter's Fury. Mystic is screwed. Brody with the prediction of the corner, but Magnum is so quick to pull it back, and he's going to use their wall against them.
That's so nice. And for them to even spam that, they have to go right up to where he can kill them very, very easily. Hunter's Fury. Oh my god, he's gotten 2 with it. Recon up to the back site, not even needed. Durka is hunting them down. He's found Brody. The defuse is underway. Brody has to go quickly. It's now or never, and it is never. As Fnatic take it 13-5. That is map 1, convincingly.